Perfect. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. There's some seats up here. If you guys standing in the back, you can mosey on up. That would be great. So welcome to tonight's evening. We're really event tonight. We're really excited to have you here. And the whole opportunity is for us to engage and interact with your community to help you understand and for help to us understand, how do we go about serving the connected individual? And I'm going to talk a little bit once I'm done with the basic introduction of tonight's event, to talk about what does that mean and how is the marketplace changing as it evolves as people adopt and engage in the industry more and more through connected devices. So the objective for tonight, as talked about, is this kind of generalized theme of how do we actually create and develop really what's called interactive advertising through the HTML5 payload? How do we create these interactive ad experiences or marketing experiences that can delight, enrich, and engage the individual wherever they might be in the moments of their life? And when Adam speaks up later, he'll be talking about those moments that we were that are happening in our everyday life. But for us to get started, I want to kick it off and help us understand, well, what does it mean to be of service to this connected individual, this person that exists in the life, and within this context of marketing. So we often talk about marketing and we talk about the vehicle of what marketing is, and it's really important for us to think about that the function of marketing is changing dramatically. If you go out there and you ask people out in the marketplace, well, what is marketing? You're going to see there's roughly about 100 different definitions of the practice of marketing. And more often than not, the practice of marketing is either defined by the channel to which the marketer their job is responsible for managing, or by the objective to which they want to accomplish. So marketing is so often challenged by, especially in the technology environment where we're coming out from the Silicon Valley environment, marketing is really driven by either those objectives or channels. Or if you go to a brand marketer or a CPG marketer, a consumer packaged goods, you take and look at marketing from the perspective of the pure marketer that's representing a consumer brand. They'll look at it as the process of managing the brand experience, or the process of creating and delighting the individual, the customer through that process. But invariably, again, marketing has become this merge of technology and the brand experience. And in fact, this technology has gotten incredibly complicated for marketers. Over the last 4, 5, 6 years, we've gone from about 2010, there being about roughly 100 marketing technology companies, like a Fun Mobility, that will help you be able to engage and create really enriched experiences for the individual that you're serving. Today, there are well over 3,500. There might be as many as 4,000, depending on what people see. And then when we look at this chart, and so for marketers, it's really complicated, and it's getting very challenging. And then when we look to try to map that to different ways and capabilities and try to create a roadmap about that, about the use of marketing, that too is creating a lot of complexity for people. But if we kind of take a big step back and think about, well, what is marketing? Where are we going? In the age of the individual, marketing is about helping businesses connect themselves with the buyer, with the person that they're going to transact and interact with. It's really as simple as that. How do we create seamless interaction to put a buyer and seller of goods and services together as quickly and as efficiently as possible? And all of the capability and all the technology is out there to be able to do that. And you, the developers in the room, are absolutely necessary for making that happen. Because marketing today has become a technology-driven business. It's become a data-driven business that's been augmented by the creativity that's been driving it. But as we enter into the age of the connected individual, and I'm going to be defining that a little bit more as we move forward, the big marketers like a Coca-Cola are very clear in their challenge. Consumers have become more and more connected, but it's never been harder to connect with them. What's happening there is because of connected devices like the smartphone, a smart TV, a connected TV, a smart watch, a tablet computer, the connected car, the connected refrigerator, or any number of different devices that are out there, the media capabilities of actually engaging and servicing that individual is fragmented. Our attention is being spread across a wide number of areas, and it's becoming very difficult for the marketer to reach the individual at scale. And if we think about those devices, by 2020, the average individual will have 10 connected devices in their life. A smartphone, a watch, a tablet, a refrigerator, a car, a television set. By 2022, the average household will have roughly 50 connected devices per household. And by 2025, 75 billion to 500 billion connected devices are going to be coming online. which means that we are entering into a world very rapidly to which we will never be disconnected. And so as industry, as businesses, as marketers, we're having to think about how do we actually serve and be present for that individual in a world where they're never disconnected. And if we think about the connected devices that are coming into our lives associated with us as individuals, or associated with our household, or associated within society, there are some mega trends that are happening that are materially impacting the expectations and behaviors of that individual that's out there in the market. For example, we're moving from channels to direct engagement. Marketers used to try to engage you through email or out-of-home media or point of sale or TV. It's no longer just about the channels. It's about the engagement with that individual across all of the channels. We're moving from it just being about the products you sell to the services and the experiences that come along with those products. We're moving from ownership to access. Very soon, we won't need to buy cars, because we can just hail up the Uber and have it come to us. Very soon, we're not going to need to buy any number of physical goods in our lives. We can just access them. We're moving from desktop to mobile. We're no longer tethered to the desk. Mobility and connectivity is pervasive throughout all of our lives. We're moving from a rented to owned model when it comes to marketing. What that means is marketers spend most of their time and energy in paid media. They're putting out advertising, they're putting out programs, but increasingly what they're going to start doing is owning those media channels to be able to engage and interact with the individual. Now, today's about an interactive advertising hackathon. Advertising in rented media is never going away, but the bridge to be able to connect the rented audience, the rented media, and the advertising model to the owned channels and the direct communication between a brand are absolutely incredible. And hopefully you'll be able to think about when you're developing your ideas, leveraging the Fun Mobility platform, keep that concept in mind. How do I take the paid media experience that I'm generating for this brand to bring it over and make a connection directly with them through an owned channel? We're also starting to see the expectation that businesses have to become more and more personalized with their communication, that advertising is becoming about engagement, that people are quantifying themselves through these devices like the smartwatch to be able to manage my behavior, and then having that data be integrated into the experience that the marketer is providing back. So for example, there are a number of banks, for instance, one in Russia, that's saying, if you share your activity behavior with me, we'll give you lower interest rates. Or the company that's saying, if you share your activity behavior with us, we're going to reduce your insurance policies. So individuals are starting to share this quantified data to feed it into the customer market. And then finally, we're moving into from actuarial to actual, predicted models to actual models because of the data of the individual living in the connected world. And then finally, because of connectivity, we can actually intimately know the individual. There's technology out there, for example, that we can map these 10 devices to a person and then serve that person with cross-device experiences at scale. So with this in mind, as we move forward, we need to realize this is not about technology. This is about being of service to the individual, and this is not a new idea in society. Cicero taught us this in 80 BC. If you wish to persuade me, you must think my thoughts, feel my feelings, and speak my words. In other words, you need to have empathy for me as an individual. It's not about just putting out that media, creating that HTML5 experience. It's about personalizing it for me as an individual and doing it so at scale. And so with that in mind, in markets and business, when you're thinking about the market, you have to stop, we encourage you to stop using the language like shopper or consumer or patient or voter. Because of connectivity, because of these devices, it's now about the individual. Because sometimes I consume, sometimes I shop, sometimes I'm a voter, I'm always a person, I'm always an individual, and we're increasingly having an expectation to be served by that. I want to play you a quick video that kind of encapsulates that in the expectation of the person you're looking to serve.
I'm Todd, and I live for speed. I'm a guy's guy.
Is there an audio problem?
A techie. I'm a sportsman.
So we had this working at one point. Should I put the HDMI5 cable in maybe? Where'd it go? Is it here? You want to come on in? It was all working at one point. Here, let's just do this. Here, we'll just do this. We'll pull an audible. We'll go like this.
Definitely audible.
It is.
And I live for speed. I'm a guy.
Whoops. One more try.
Hi, I'm Ty, and I live for speed. I'm a guy's guy. A gentleman. A techie. I'm a sports fanatic. One sec, I gotta make my fantasy draft picks. I like kicking back, hanging out, Same as you, I live life to the fullest, but it's gotta be fast. Catch me here for hints and tips on how to get the most out of your fast life. And follow me on Facebook, Vine, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube to make every second count. Welcome to my world. Try to keep up.
So when you're looking at, oops, jeez. Let me get on my head now. Got it. We're good. All right, so when you're looking out at the world and you're thinking about the customers that you serve, you're serving Ty. You're expecting the individual that expects you to be serving them as an individual in the moments of life across all of the media that you work with. And we don't have the time to talk about this today, but the basis of industry competition has evolved over the last 120 years to the point now, by 2020, we're entering into the age of the connected individual. It will be those companies that learn how to serve the individual at scale and on the individual's terms will be the companies that win and take the lion's share of industrial competition and revenue going forward. So with this in mind, as we think about this emerging model where we're all becoming increasingly more connected, we're all demanding personalized experiences, what this means is that companies need to start creating connected brands and creating connected products for connected individuals within a connected society by connected companies. And so marketers must learn how to become connected marketers. And a connected marketer learns how to curate people. And there's companies like Sephora that are learning how to do that. When somebody walks into a Sephora store, they can pull out their phone and immediately interact with the physical product, bridging the physical and digital experience to have a curated experience. To be guides like Amazon, who's providing recommendations at will at the micro moments of the life. And in fact, Amazon updates their website somewhere in the world every 11 seconds, learning to cater how to be of service to that individual. Then you have to be confident, like a Google, to really help people explore their world out there in the marketplace, or a disruptor like Uber that just absolutely changes the game based on those 10 themes that we talked before. So going forward, this is a framework that you'll be able to adopt and consider as you're thinking about going, not just for tonight and for the hackathon, but as you move forward with your business. What does it mean to be of service to the connected individual, and how do I help my company do that? How do I help follow the principles of the connected marketer, which is understanding, enablement, simplification, and being of service? How do I master the 4 human dimensions, putting physical, digital, sensorial, and emotional elements into my products? And then ultimately, how do I master the 7 layers of connectivity to be able to take all of that insight to be able to create a consistent, common experience across all of the devices that the individual out there in the service, with the underlying principle that you need to be creating value for and with individuals, not from them. So in the future, as you're thinking about marketing, as you're thinking about the hackathon, think about this premise, that the connected marketer serves the connected individual at scale and on the individual's terms, creates and manages those physical digital experiences, integrates the emotion and sensorial elements, masters the 7 layers of connectivity in order to fulfill people's needs and to inspire them. Now, later tonight, you're going to now learn how to do that, and we're going to experiment with one example of that, the model of advertising and interactive advertising. So Chris is going to come up and talk to you about what advertising is and how you will be able to apply it to this idea of the connected marketer. Adam's going to come up and talk to you about one very compelling and incredibly effective tool, the Fund Mobility DXP platform, that you'll be able to leverage to create these experiences that will enable you to serve the individual across all of their devices in a very, very scalable way. And then finally, if you have a time on Monday and Tuesday next week here in San Francisco, we're hosting the Connected Marketer Institute Summit and Award Ceremony. We have over 250 people coming to be able to talk about this concept of the connected marketer. And as an SF HTML5 meetup group member, you get 50% off. So if you want your discount codes and you want to come and attend that event on Monday, be sure to come out. And so with that, I'd like to hand it off to